Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to start our playthrough of Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core by Gale Force 9. Super excited to bring this one to you because I'm a huge Aliens fan and this is a game I've been anticipating for a long time. I'm really excited to give this a shot. I got a chance to play a little bit of it at Gen Con a couple years ago and I'm excited to see how this game has unfolded since then. We're going to go ahead and start the campaign mission. So we're going to go through 3 different missions. The campaign starts with rescuing Newt, then we're going to go into one where we're trapped and then we're going to try to get out through and escape the actual LV-426. We'll see if we can do it. We might not make it. We'll do our best though and see how far we get. One of the cool things about this game is it is a persistent campaign. So as it goes forward, a lot of the things that we do in the first mission will affect the second mission, which also will affect the third mission. Because of course this all happens pretty much in the course of one day, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and see the mission. We're going to get our board set up and we're going to go ahead and get all of our characters ready. If you're excited to see if our Marines can make it off of LV-426 after being surprised by the aliens, then I'll need you to meet me at the table.
Let's rock!
The last time you will hear. The last time you will hear.
Since we'll be playing through the campaign, our first mission we are going to do is going to be the Newt scenario. So we have mission goals, extraction, computer tokens, game over man, motion tracker deck, drawing motion tracker cards, campaign notes, and some special rules on Newt. Let's quickly move through some of these and then we'll go ahead and start setting up the board. Of course, some of the rules on this card may not be perfectly clear until you actually start seeing the game in motion, but I do want to roll through them so you can hear and see what they all do. So our mission goal is to win. In order to do that, you need to locate and recover Newt and then escape the board with her alive. In this mission, Newt is not part of your squad. Instead, her token and the 3 other mission blip tokens are flipped face down, shuffled, and placed where indicated on the board. Extraction. Models can exit the board at the extraction point after Newt has been recovered. Next, we're going to be placing a computer token down on the map, and this token indicates a computer that characters can interact with on the board. A character in a space next to the computer token may take an interact action and perform a tech test. And again, we'll see how that works during the playthrough. If they pass, you may look at any one of the face down blip tokens, which could help determine if you're able to see or find Newt easier or harder, because of course there's those 4 face down tokens and this computer token might be able to help us out. Of course, we have a game over man situation. The mission ends in failure if Newt dies at any point. Once all surviving characters and Newt move onto the exit, the mission ends. If Newt and 2 or more other characters survive, the mission is successful, otherwise the mission ends in failure. Another deck we'll be seeing is our motion tracker deck, and for this deck we're going to be shuffling 5 random threat level 1s and 5 random threat level 2 cards together and set these 10 cards aside for the moment. Shuffle the rest of the motion tracker cards together and then place the 10 cards on top of the motion tracker deck. And when drawing from the motion tracker cards, we're not going to start that until turn 3. And our campaign notes say that if you succeed in this mission, you can continue to the next mission. However, depending on how things went in this game, you might have fewer resources to work with. Follow the instructions below to prepare for the next mission. If we're able to succeed, the first thing we're going to do is each player search the discard pile and selects 1 card to return to the endurance deck. Then we're also going to return all hazard cards in the discard pile to the endurance deck. The third thing we're going to do is shuffle the discard pile and remove half, rounded up, for the cards from the game. These cards may not be used for the remainder of the campaign. And the fourth thing we're going to be doing is returning the remaining cards from that discard pile that we split in half to the endurance deck to be used in the next mission. So as you can see, if we do make it out, what happens during the mission will affect the missions that we're going to be playing after this one. Now, of course, this is all about Rebecca, aka Newt. Newt is hidden among the 4 mission blip tokens. These blips are spotted like normal, but unlike regular blips, these do not move during the alien phase. When you flip a blip token to reveal Newt, place the Newt miniature there. She is now a character in the game. Until she calms down, she activates after all characters have activated each turn. Each turn she takes 2 move actions, taking a path that will end her movement as far away as possible from any Marine, but not Ripley. In case you don't know how this actually activates, if you have not seen the movie, first off, stop right now and go watch the movie. Newt is a character that is from the original colony that was on the planet, and they actually find her, but she's obviously not wanting to trust any people or obviously the aliens. So she's attempting to kind of stay away from us and live her life the way she's been living without any help. So that's why it's talking about how she's going to be running away from us. Now, of course, we're going to try to calm her down, and any character that is within 2 spaces and in line of sight of Newt may take her an interact action to calm her down. An interact action is one of the actions a Marine can perform on their turn, or of course Ripley can as well, to calm her down. To do this, roll a Marine die. On a 4 or less, Newt calms down and joins your squad, and if Ripley is played as a hero, she can add her character card as a hero. Otherwise, she's added as a grunt, and of course I'll demonstrate how all of that works during our setup. Having read through the mission, we're going to go ahead and set up our board, but I'm just going to quickly point out a few things as we do this. These are our mission blips down here that I'll be placing down. These are just random blips. These are just going to be aliens that we don't know about running around inside here. This is where our characters are going to start, and these numbers here are potential spawn points from where future aliens may enter the board. And right up here is going to be where our computer token is that we talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and set our board all up. And of course, this is our turn dial. I've panned out quite a bit so we can see how the entire map looks. So I've set it all up. We have our spawn points on the map. This is our computer token. I'm going to go ahead and place that right there. And then, of course, we also have to place our exit. Our exit is right here. It's going to go in this area right here. Now, down here is where we're going to be placing the 4 blips. Now, these blips do look different from the random blips that we get as well, which I seem to have dropped on the board. We're going to go ahead and put these down and just kind of mix these up a little bit, and then we're going to place them down where they're supposed to go. One goes here, here, and there's another one that goes down here, and then of course the last one is going to go down here. Now if we were able to draw a line of sight to any of these blips, they are going to be revealed and we're going to have to deal with what is there. Now of course we also have 2 other blips. I'm just going to randomly pick a couple and we're going to place them down over here. Apparently there's a couple aliens hanging out in here. We don't know how many there are. Now these blips are going to actually either symbolize a single alien or a horde of aliens coming at us, and we don't know what they are. All we know is that they are going to be coming after us, and once we can see them, we flip it over and we're going to put down that many aliens where that blip token is. It's really kind of a cool system. So we have our first turn as well. So our board is all set up and ready to go. Let's go ahead and get our characters ready. We're going to be playing a 2-player game, so I'm going to be activating 2 different characters as hero characters, and then the rest are going to be played as grunts. Now, of course, characters do have different things going on. If you're being used as one of the hero characters, like I'm going to be doing for Hicks, because Hicks is awesome, Corporal Dwayne Hicks is going to be our hero, but if we decide to use him as a grunt, we'd flip him over and he would be in this situation right here. Some of his stuff he does is a little bit different. He has 4 speed, 4 defense, 2 melee, 4 tech, and 6 aim. As a hero, he of course has better stats. 4, 6, 3, 5 tech, and 7 aim. And of course he has some powers here. The first one's on activation. You may draw an endurance card, and passive once per turn, exhaust a card from my hand to reroll Hicks's failed attack roll. Those are going to be his abilities since he is one of our heroes. Now if you notice on the side, there's weapon, backup weapon, and 2 equipment cards. These Marines have landed on LV-426 and they are equipped to the max. They are ready to take on anything. So at the beginning of the mission, you're able to choose absolutely anything you want from the equipment deck and also your weapon deck. You can pick anything you want to put on your characters with a few limitations. The first one is your main weapon is going to go over here, and you can equip any type of backup weapon. Now, of course, it has to say backup in its slot. For example, we are going to equip Hicks with an M41A pulse rifle. Now, there's a few things going on this card that I want to demonstrate. First, the cost is 3. That is how many cards it would cost to equip this to you if you don't start with it in your mission. Also, it is a weapon, and it does have some abilities down here. First off, it is full auto, meaning that if you hit, it says right here, exhaust a card when you take an attack action with this weapon. And then if you are successful in your attack, you can activate the full auto power, which allows you to continue attacking until either you miss or you want to stop attacking. Also down here, it says after you take an attack action with this weapon, you may take an additional attack action using a grenade weapon equipped to this character. In case people don't know, the M41A pulse rifle is not only a pulse rifle, it has an underneath grenade launcher attached to it, which is pretty awesome. It's a pretty cool sounding weapon if you ask me. Only in sci-fi movies can they make really awesome cool weapons like that. Now of course, if you've seen the movie, Hicks also carries around a shotgun, so we have that as well. I am going to give him his shotgun, his Ithaca 37 shotgun. Now this would cost $2 normally to equip it, but since he's coming straight off the APC into LV-426, he has this with him as well. Now notice this one is backup, so I can equip it into his backup slot, and it can only be used close. You gain -1 to your defense rolls with this equipped, and also exhaust 1 card when you take the attack action with this weapon. So it attacks similarly as the pulse rifle. Now it does have a different power down here. It says this weapon may only target a model that is within 3 spaces of this character, and this weapon always hits on a roll of 5 or less. And you're going to see how that works. We have an aim 7, so every character is going to gain an aim dial that we're just going to go ahead and put with our character. As we attack with our weapons, we're going to tick this down. So for example, if we were to hit an alien with this or not, we would go to 6. And then if we go ahead and fire again, we would go to 5. And so on and so forth until we decide to either stop attacking or we miss or something to that nature. Now at the beginning of every turn, we get to go ahead and put this aim dial back to the top. Now of course, this weapon is always going to hit on a 5 or less, even if we're down in the lower area of our aim dial. But it does have a limit in its range. It can only fire up to 3 squares away. So it's really cool how some of these work. The next thing we have to do is put our equipment down. Now, another thing I want to mention as we are equipping our characters is the more cards I take from this endurance deck, the less our characters are going to be able to use the endurance deck during the game. It's kind of like your timer and life force. There's a lot of different things the endurance deck does, and you'll see how it works during the game. So maybe leaving some equipment off might be okay, but you know, we're not going to do that. We're going to give Hicks some body armor, which allows him to go ahead and re-roll. If you fail a defense roll, I can reveal a card, and if these symbols appear, like you see right here, different things are going to happen. So I'm going to go equip some body armor for him, and I think we're also going to equip a helmet as well. If you fail a defense roll, I can reveal a card, and if one of these things happen, then we can go ahead and take advantage of what it says. So he is equipped. He's got a helmet, he's got some body armor, he's got his pulse rifle, and he's got his shotgun. And Corporal Hicks is also a corporal, which is going to play into the game, as you'll see in a moment. The next character we're going to play as a hero is going to be Scott Gorman. Now, for those of you that have seen the movie, Scott Gorman wasn't the greatest commander on the planet, but you know, he was kind of a rookie, and he's learned a lot in the actual movie, but sadly, it didn't really help him out. What we're going to do is equip Scott Gorman with a pulse rifle as well. Now, in the movie, he did not have one like that, but he's coming off the APC. He's ready for action. He's got a pulse rifle. He's good to go. Now, I could give him a backup weapon if I wish to. We have some pistols I could give, which are a backup weapon. This weapon always hits on a roll of 3, and after you take an attack action with this weapon, you may exhaust a card to make a second attack with this weapon, but I think we're going to leave that off. I'm just going to keep him with a pulse rifle. Like I said before when talking about Hicks, the more you put on your characters, the less you actually have in your endurance deck. Now, of course, this card would only cost 1 to equip if we ever find it later on in the game, which is totally fine. Maybe then we'll be able to equip it. I do get to give him a couple equipment cards if I wish to, and for those who have seen the movie, he does actually carry a grenade with him. And this is a backup close and grenade weapon. It says discard this card to make an attack with this weapon. Choose a space that is within 4 squares of your character and in line of sight. For each model and token in that space and within 1 space of it, this weapon always hits on a roll of 6 or less. You can blow up a whole ton of aliens because that's really what grenades do, which is pretty awesome. I'm also going to give him a flare. It's going to allow you to discard this card to look at the top 4 cards of the motion tracker deck. You may place one of these cards at the bottom of the motion tracker deck and place the rest on top in any order. So that should hopefully help us when we see some really bad card on top. We can maybe get rid of it, and hopefully something worse is not under it. Now, he does have a couple abilities here. It says, during your activation, I may recycle 3 cards from my hand to let another Marine character take an action, which is going to probably be pretty good. And of course, at the end of my activation, I have to draw 2 endurance cards. It doesn't say may draw 2 endurance cards, has to happen. I believe that's supposed to kind of symbolize the fact that he's not exactly the most competent leader, and sometimes you don't actually want to draw those endurance cards. You want to keep them where they are. Of course, we have been trained to deal with a situation like this. So those are the 2 heroes we're going to use. Now in this game, you do have to use 6 characters in your actual party. So the other characters that we are not playing as heroes are going to be grunts. And let's go quick take a look at them. Our first grunt is going to be Hudson. He's going to have a pulse rifle. He also has a motion tracker and body armor. For those that have seen the movie, he's the one who's holding the motion tracker. So it says right here, free action, reveal a card. And then if it's one of these 2 symbols, I can look at the top 2 cards of the motion tracker deck, place one of those cards at the bottom of the motion tracker deck, and the other card back on top of the motion tracker deck. So that'll be kind of good, and again, helping to figure out what is going to be coming at us. He does have 6 aim. I did fail to mention Gorman has 5 aim, so I've gone ahead and given him his 5 aim dial. He's all set to go. Let's move to the next person. Next, we have Vasquez. She's awesome. Now, she comes with a passive power here that is actually going to be helping us out quite a bit. It says, exhaust 2 cards instead of 3 each time you fire the M56 smart gun. And you better believe I'm going to equip that to her because there she is standing in the picture with it. I don't see why you wouldn't. Now, this is a full auto bulky gun. I have to exhaust 3 cards when you take the attack action with this weapon. And when rolling for an attack with this weapon, you roll 2 dice instead of 1, discarding the highest result. This just shows how powerful this gun is. You cannot have a backup weapon equipped, so I do not have a backup weapon on her. She has a 6 aim dial ready to go. Now, she does have a card here that we haven't seen before. It's an arc welder. She actually had it in the movie as well. Action. Discard this card to barricade a door with 1 space from your character. So she can actually do it closer than some of the other characters. If you're next to it is what you have to do, but she can do it a little bit farther away. She also has some body armor, and so she is all set to go. This is going to be awesome. Our next grunt is going to be Frost. Frost has a passive power as well that has to do with the flame unit. It says shooting an M240 flame thrower, reveal a card. If I get one of those, I get to recycle a card. And of course, I have given him his flamethrower. In the movie, he had one, but sadly, I believe, if I remember right, a pawn took it from him. But that's okay. He's actually going to keep it now. It's a cumbersome close weapon. Exhaust 2 cards to make an attack with this weapon. Choose a space that is 2 spaces away from your character and in line of sight. Roll for each model and token in the space and within 1 space of it. This weapon always hits on a roll of 7 or less. Now, of course, he has an aim dial of 5, but that's not going to matter when he's using that weapon because he can roll it at a 7 or less. Now, he has a Hadley's Hope map. I've given him this. It says exhaust this card at any time to shuffle the motion tracker card you just drew into the motion tracker deck. Again, trying to mitigate at least these aliens coming at us. And we also have a shoulder lamp as well. This one has a free action. Look at the top card of either the endurance deck or the motion tracker deck. You may exhaust this card to place that card on the bottom of this deck. Do not play any hazard cards revealed in this way. So it could hopefully save us from a hazard card if we get lucky enough. Now, he is going to equip a HK VP70 pistol, basically because he's in the picture with it. I think it's awesome. It is our backup weapon. He can use that because this is not a bulky weapon. So he is allowed to carry backup weapons. And this weapon always hits on a roll of 3 or less. And after you take an attack action with this weapon, you may exhaust a card to make a second attack. Mainly because since his flame unit can only shoot close, I want to make sure we have a weapon he can attack from far away. And what alien movie would not be complete if Ripley was not in it? Ripley is going to have a pulse rifle. I really wish she had an ability to have a pulse rifle and a flamethrower attached at both sides. I think that'd be awesome because she does do that in the movie, or at least have it as one weapon. I could have it as a backup. That'd be a really cool rule to have. Now, she does have a medical scanner. I didn't give her any body armor or helmets or anything because she really didn't have them in the movie. And it says equipment, action, exhaust this card to stand up a knockdown character. Hopefully we never have to use that, but we may. And we have seen this flare before. Now, of course, I'm going to set her aim dial at 5. I didn't mention some of the other ones, but we're all set to go in this game. Looking at our sheet that has to do with our mission setup, we are going to start all of our characters in this area right here. So we're going to go ahead and put each of them down. Now, I will apologize already. I did not get a chance to paint these guys up, but that's okay. I just still want to show you what the miniatures look like after you assemble them. This is Hicks. I like how they actually do put the name of the person on the miniature's base as well. So we're going to place him here, and we're also going to place Vasquez because she's got that awesome machine gun, smart gun. Put her back there. We're going to place Hudson right here. And actually, I'm going to move Hicks down because I want to put Ripley in between. We're going to place Ripley right here. Here she is. We're going to place her down right here in between. Gorman's going to be kind of leading in the middle here. So I'm going to put him right there. And the last person I'm going to put down is Frost. Frost is going to be placed right here. He's got his pistol and his flame unit. Our characters are placed and the board is all set up. There's only a few more things we have to get ready. We do have to go ahead and get our decks all set up. Now this game comes with a really cool thing that kind of keeps your decks all in the right spot and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and get our motion tracker deck created, and each scenario is going to tell you how to do that. According to our scenario here, we're going to take 5 cards that are the easier version of the motion tracker, the level 1. We're also going to take 5 level 2s as well, and we're going to mix both of these decks together. Then we're going to take the rest of the motion tracker deck, the entire thing, give it a good old truffle shuffle here, and we're going to place it down right here. And then after we do that, we're going to place those 10 cards that we had shuffled independently and place them on top. So of course we know the first 10 cards are going to be a little bit easier, but you have to remember this is the first mission and the first scenario. So things are going to be a little bit easier for the first mission, and it kind of probably gets tougher as we go. The last thing we have to do is get our endurance deck all set up. Now of course the endurance deck is built up with all our events, hazards, and our weapons and equipment that we did not put on our characters, and that creates an entire deck of endurance cards, and we're going to go ahead and place that deck down right where it shows us to right here. And then as we play, we're going to be exhausting cards and discarding cards. We're also going to be using our motion tracker cards and discarding them as well. One of the last things we have to do is give our activation token to the person with the highest rank, and that's Gorman. Gorman is going to take our activation token. Now that doesn't mean he necessarily has to go first. He gets to choose who is the first active player. So he could go ahead and pass this over to Hicks to go first, and then it would come back to him later, or he could go and then Hicks could go. And of course there's 4 people. He could give this to any one of those 4 or 5 people that are also playing the game. But for now, we're going to give it to Gorman. We are now set to start up the game. So from this point, we have to decide what Gorman wants to do with his activation token. He is actually going to give it to Hicks. Hicks is going to be our first active player. And if we look at it, it says on activation, you may draw an endurance card. And he is going to go ahead and draw an endurance card because, of course, his passive is once per turn. I can exhaust the card from his hand to reroll a failed attack roll, so it's probably good to at least have 1 in his hand. And we have another helmet. Now, I could go ahead and keep this as a card, which I will be doing, or I could go ahead and equip this if I wish to, or I could equip it onto any other of my Marines which are within 2 squares of me. We're going to go ahead and keep this card. I'm going to place it right here. That's going to be our hand. We're just going to keep our hand right there, and he's going to go ahead now and look at the rest of the things he can do on his turn. If we go down our turn order steps, the first thing we have to do is reset our aim dial, which we've already done. We don't actually have to, I should say, because we don't have anything to aim at. We're going to set it to 7. Then we're going to, of course, resolve all those activation abilities at the beginning of turn, and that his on activation, he's going to go ahead and draw his endurance card since it is him activating. Then we're going to go ahead and equip endurance cards. Like I said before, we could go ahead and either equip the weapon or equipment card, or I could remove any of my unwanted equipment or weapons, or on top of that, I could equip other characters that are within 2 spaces like I've mentioned earlier. The step 4 of our activations is we are now going to activate Corporal Hicks, and he gets to go ahead and perform 2 actions. If we look at the Marine phase of our card, we're going to go ahead and look at the perform up to 2 actions. The actions we could do is move, which we're going to use our move stat to move. We could attack, we could barricade, we could aim, which would give us +1 to our aim dial, which could go above their starting aim, but it can never go above 10, and the aim dial can never go below 1. We could also interact with different things on the board. We could use one of our cards, or we could go ahead and rest, where we could recycle 3 cards and draw a couple if we wish to. I'm going to go ahead and just move with Hicks. He's going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, because that is his move stat. He's then going to move 4 more, I think. His move is right here. He's got 4. He's going to go ahead and move 4, and then you can move in any direction you want, orthogonally and diagonally. It is totally up to you. We're going to move 1, 2, 3 to right here. And I'm not going to move 4 because if I did, I would be within line of sight of this token, which might be a good thing. It could be Newt, or it could be an alien, or it could be nothing. We're not sure, and I don't really want to activate those tokens yet because that's the end of his turn. He doesn't have anything else to do, so he wouldn't be able to shoot at it unless it was an alien that charged at him, which I will demonstrate as we play, I'm sure. We're going to go ahead and just stop right there. That is the end of his turn. Now if we go ahead and continue down the card, we can now resolve all end of activation abilities. He doesn't have any. He can now use his rank to activate grunts, and this is going to be a key thing. Being a corporal, Hicks has the ability to activate up to 2 grunts. If he was a private, he would only be able to activate up to 1. And of course, we have Gorman, who can activate up to 3 grunts. So this is how we're going to be able to control our other characters as we play through the game. So he's going to be able to take control of 2 of these grunts for this turn. He gets to tell them to do something. And I think he's going to go ahead and work with Ripley and Hudson. So let's go ahead and take some actions with them. Those 2 characters are right here. We're going to go ahead and have Hudson go 1, 2, 3, 4 because he has a 4 speed. And he's going to use his second action to again move 1, 2 to right here and wait. Again, I do not want to activate these blips. Ripley's going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 to right here so that next turn we can see if Newt is in one of these rooms that are adjacent from each other. With Hicks completing his actions, he's going to go ahead and now pass the activation token on. And we're going to go ahead and have Gorman perform his 2 actions. And he's going to go ahead and move, I think, twice. He's got 4 speed. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, so he can be up here next to this computer console. Maybe he can activate it. Next, we're going to go ahead and activate our 2 grunts that we have left, and that's Frost and Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4. She also has 4 speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to move right up to there. Frost's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. They're going to kind of stay together here so that we can not get overwhelmed by a bunch of aliens. And that's going to end Gorman's activation. So now we're going to go ahead and pass the activation token, but there aren't any more people to pass the activation token on. So we are going to move over to the alien phase. So the first thing we're going to do is activate aliens. At this point in time, there are no aliens on the board. We do have blips, but we don't have aliens. And our second step is to activate our blips. So let's go ahead and do that. One thing we have to do before we move the blips is we have to go ahead and at the end of Gorman's activation, he has to draw 2 endurance cards. So we have 2 endurance cards. Let's see what he has found. He has found Look Sharp. This is an event that costs 0 endurance to play, and it says each character takes an aim action. Marine characters may draw an endurance card. Okay, may is an interesting word there. And then we also have somebody wake up Hicks. He fell asleep on the ride down. And this is going to cost us 3 endurance cards to play, and it says stand up any 1 knockdown character. So we're going to go ahead and put them in his hand. Now, from what I understand, there is no limit to your hand size. So you can have as many cards as you want in your hand. But of course, remember, the more cards you have in your hand and are not in the endurance decks, the more of a chance you have of losing the game based on the endurance deck itself. The way you activate blips has to do with the map segments. So right here is a map segment. This group of blips is going to move at a different speed potentially than the other ones. For example, if there were any on this map segment, we would be moving them separately. The way it works is we take our alien die and we roll it up, and then that's how many these blips are going to move. I got a 4. They are going to move 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. Now, of course, blips cannot be on top of each other, so they have to stop right there. That's the end of moving our blips. We're then going to go ahead and move down the list here where it says draw motion tracker cards. Now, normally we would draw a card, but remember, in this scenario, we do not draw any motion tracker cards until turn 3. So right now we're still on turn 1. That brings us to our finish phase. So we're going to resolve any finish phase effects, check for victory or defeat, and then we're going to go ahead and clean up. Very similar to the way the actual Aliens movie goes looking for Newt. We didn't find any aliens and nothing really happened. We're going to go ahead and turn our dial to 2 and move into the second turn. Now, of course, remember, these blips are not going to become aliens until we can actually draw a line of sight to them. And since they're behind these walls over here, we still don't know who or what is out there. Now, these blips, as said in the actual scenario, do not move. They're going to stay right here. Of course, if they turn into aliens, then of course they're going to come after us, and that could be pretty bad. But we're on turn 2. We're going to go ahead and start the beginning of the round. The first thing we have to do is decide, well, Gorman is going to get the activation token, and now he is going to decide who wants to go first, and I think he is going to be the one that goes first. So we're going to go ahead, reset his aim dial, resolve all on activation abilities. He does not have any. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to equip endurance cards. He's going to keep all the ones he's got. No reason to equip anything or unequip anything. He's then again going to perform 2 actions. So he can move, attack, barricade, aim, interact, card action, or go ahead and rest. Now, of course, we do have some cards we could play if we wish to, but I don't think we're going to. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the board and begin his turn. Gorman is adjacent to this computer console here, so he's going to go ahead and use that. He's going to perform a tech roll to see if he's able to understand and use the computer. The way that works is we're going to consult his character card here, and he has a 6 tech. So he's going to go ahead and roll a d10 and hope to get a 6 or lower, and that way he will be able to activate that computer. Roll it right here, and we got a 4. So he is able to activate this computer console, so he's able to look at any one blip on the board. I think it'll be wise to check out the blips down here. I'm not too worried about the ones running at them. He's going to go ahead and take a look at this blip token right here. Oh, he found Newt. Newt's right here. All right, so that means our brave Marines have to not only come down here, they're going to have to deal with all of these. Oh, we might only have to deal with these 2, because I can come down here to go ahead and get Newt, because this one will be a little bit farther away. All right, I think that's going to be our plan. So we know where Newt is. She is right here. We have to try to get to her and then still get back to the exit. That was his first action. He still has one more. I believe it's going to be our best bet to start kind of moving back down towards here. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And at this point, he is going to now activate a couple grunts. He's going to go ahead and work with these 2. I think these 2, this little group works well together. Vasquez is actually going to move right here, and she's actually going to stay there because hopefully next turn she can take out these aliens that are coming back down this way. Oh, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe we should just keep moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 to right here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over to here. And then they're going to be all set for these blips to come down. Hopefully they can try to take them out next turn. I think that's going to be our best bet. Gorman, of course, is hanging back because he does a great job of leading from the back. At the end of his activation, he does have to go ahead and draw 2 endurance cards. He has found a HK VP70 pistol, and he has also found Do It Fast. Oh, this is awesome. I love the picture on this card. I love the cards themselves. They're just awesome. Whatever you're going to do it fast. That's what he says. Now, this is going to cost us 2 endurance in order to play this card and choose another character. That character immediately takes an action. Oh, wow. So that could be pretty good. He could even tell Hicks to go ahead and take another action, even though it's not really part of his turn, and he's another hero's character. Oh, that's going to be really good. All right. We're going to move now this activation token over to Hicks, and he is going to go next. On activation, Hicks is going to be able to draw an endurance card. He is going to draw an endurance card. He has found an M56 smart gun. This would cost him 3 endurance to equip if he wants to, and he wouldn't be able to have a backup weapon. And it would cost him, I believe it says 3 cards, endurance cards, when you take an attack action with this weapon. So it's pretty bulky and everything to fire this gun. But we're going to go ahead and put it in our inventory. And if we want to, we could equip it at another time to him or anybody else. Actually, we could equip it right now if we wanted to, because if we look at our card here, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to reset our aim dial, resolve all activation abilities, which would be right now. So now he would get that card. Then I can equip endurance cards at this point. So if I wanted to, I could equip it. I'm not going to. I could also equip this on Ripley or Hudson if I wanted to as well, because they're within 2 squares of me. But again, we're not going to. I think everybody's doing just fine. So now he's going to go ahead and perform his 2 actions. Then he's going to resolve end of activation abilities, which he doesn't really have any. And then he's going to use his rank to activate 2 more grunts. We know Newt is right here, so we have to try to get to her. So Hicks is going to move 1 square. He's going to do a move action first, 1 here, and then once he's there, he is going to be able to reveal these 2 blip tokens. He has a line of sight to them. So our first blip token over here has a 1. So there's 1 alien just hanging out over here. So we're going to go ahead and here's the miniatures for the aliens. They're pretty cool. Now, of course, you have to assemble these miniatures. And they were okay when it came to assembly. The hardest part was this tail. The tails don't really glue on all that great, but I was able to get them on there. I just kind of positioned them so that they would stay on until they're glued on. So the alien is right there, but other than that, they look absolutely fantastic. And now we also reveal this blip token as well. And we have found 2 aliens. So we're going to go ahead and take one of our alien standees, miniature guys, and then we're also going to put one of these underneath it to symbolize 1, 2 aliens. And this is going to be like a swarm of aliens coming at you. So now he's done his first action, or he's started moving, so he's moved 1. But he's really, I think, going to stop right there so he can take out these aliens. He's going to go ahead now and probably perform an attack action so he can start shooting some of these aliens. The way an attack action works is we're going to go ahead and use our full auto M41A pulse rifle. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to exhaust a card when you take an attack action with this weapon. So that means I'm going to take 1 card from the top of our deck and we are going to exhaust it. And that card, we don't even know what it is. It's just going to hang out in the exhaust pile. And that's going to allow us to go ahead and make an attack action. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and check my aim dial. I have an aim of 7. So I need to get a 7 or less in order to hit the alien. And I'm going to choose to attack this one because you cannot shoot through your friends. So if he doesn't take this guy out, there's no way these guys can really get over here unless they run around and get in front of him, then they can actually shoot. But I think it's just better to take this guy out, and maybe I can activate Hudson to take this guy out. That's going to be our plan. So we're going to go ahead with our aim dial, roll our die. Now I need to get a 7 or less. Now this dial does have a star here. The star is actually a 1. The 10 is over here. The 10 is bad. You do not want a 10. So we're going to roll this up and see how we do. I got a 10. That's awesome. But that's okay. Hicks has a passive power that allows him to exhaust a card from my hand to re-roll a failed attack roll. So I'm going to exhaust this card and place it in the exhaust deck to allow him to re-roll this die. Wow, that was terrible. All right, let's try again. Okay, a 4. That's way better. So this time we have hit the alien, and of course, once you hit them, they are dead. They don't have like a certain amount of hit points or anything. A hit alien is a dead alien. Now, since we made an attack action with our Marine, we're going to tick our dial down. So now if we ever wanted to make another attack, or if we decide to activate our full auto, we would need to get a 6 or less instead of a 7 or less. Since Hicks is a corporal, he again gets to activate 2 different grunts. I'm going to choose Ripley and Hudson, basically because they're part of our party. We're going to go ahead and move Hudson with his first action down here, 1, 2. And then he is going to go ahead and use his M41A pulse rifle. I have to exhaust a card when you take an attack action with this weapon, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take the top card off of our endurance deck, and I am just going to exhaust it. At this point, we're also going to go ahead and take a look at his aim dial. It is 6. We need to get a 6 or lower when attacking our alien swarm over there. And line of sight in this game is if you can draw a straight line from any part of their space to any part of the target space without passing through a character wall or closed door. So since there isn't any, oh no, this door is closed. I'm going to have to move up next to this door because this door is technically closed unless there is somebody adjacent to the door, either you or an alien. So he has to actually move into this room. 1, 2, I think he's going to move right here, 3, and now he's going to take an attack action against that alien. Now he doesn't have line of sight to this yet because it's going to pass through this wall from what I understand. And I'm going to go ahead and now roll. We have our aim dial at 6, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this die and see how it goes. Oh, we got a 7. We totally missed. Okay, so that's the end of his activation. That's terrible. We are going to go ahead and drop his aim dial down to 5. Now we're going to go ahead and move into Ripley's turn, and she's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, to right here, and she's also going to take a shot at this alien using the same weapon, an M41A pulse rifle. So she's going to have to take top card off of the endurance deck and exhaust it, and she needs to get a 5 or less. And she got a 2, so she was able to take out one of the aliens. Now, of course, there's an alien and an alien swarm token. We're going to remove the token first, keep the alien there, and then she's going to go ahead and use her full auto. Now this ticks down to 4, meaning she has to now get a 4 or less. And even though she is doing this full auto action, she still has to abide by the exhaust a card when I take an attack action. So we're going to exhaust our second card to go ahead and take a shot with alien Ripley. Let's see how it goes. And Ripley got an 8, so she missed the second attack. There's an alien sitting right here, and it looks like it's going to be ready to eat us. Oh, that's going to be absolutely terrible. We're now going to move into the alien phase, but before we do have to tick Ripley's aim dial down to 3 because she did try to take that second attack and she failed, so you still have to tick down the aim dial. We're going to go ahead and look at our card. We're going to activate our aliens, and there is one alien on the board, and he is adjacent to both Hudson and Ripley, which is absolutely terrible. Rule number 1, never end your activation next to an alien unless you're planning to actually fully kill it. We didn't, so now this thing is going to go ahead and attack us. Normally, aliens will move up to 6 spaces. And as they move, 1, 2, 3, 4, they will stop as soon as they get adjacent to a Marine. If they move adjacent to a Marine, then you are able to take a defensive shot or one final attack against the alien before it's able to actually try to attack you. And in that case, you could go ahead and make an attack. Also, your friends could make some as well, and we'll see how that works later on. Hopefully next time I won't stop next to an alien, and it might actually be able to do that. But instead, since they're already adjacent, that means that this alien is going to go ahead and attack. So at this point, we're going to have to defend ourselves, and I'm going to go ahead and have Hudson get attacked by the grunt. Since they're both equidistant, I think I get to choose which one. I don't see why not. We're going to go ahead and use Hudson. He has a defense of 5 and a melee of 1. Now those numbers are going to be important when we roll to see how this alien attacks. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to roll our Marine die and see how this goes. I'm going to roll it up, and we need to get a low number. We did not get a low number, so that means the player rolls the Marine die and compares the result to the defense number. If the result is equal to or less, I have dodged out of the way. Now, sadly, this is not equal or less. 9 is way more than what I have. I also have to add 1 to the die for every token underneath that alien. There's 0, so I don't have to add any. So we did get a 9. So sadly, that is more than us. If we fail the defense roll, the character is knocked down. Now, if this would have been 10 or more, our character would be dead. But we are failed. We're going to get knocked down. But I do have one last trick. I do have body armor. It says if you fail a defense roll, reveal a card. So let's go ahead and do that. So to reveal a card, we're going to draw the top card off our endurance deck and compare the symbol to what is on our body armor. Let's go ahead and see what we have found. We have found a weapon. So we're going to go ahead and see if that is part of our card. It is. It says exhaust this card. Oh, that's sad. So this is not good. We're going to go ahead and exhaust this card, which means that, again, we have still failed our defense roll. If we would have gotten the other 2 symbols on this card, I would have been able to re-roll my defense die, but sadly that did not happen. Hudson's in a world of hurt. Now, even since we revealed this card, we actually are going to put this on the bottom of the deck. And there's something I forgot to do during the setup. Our game comes with this reshuffle card. It actually has a really cool line on it. It's something opponents said from the movie. It says, another glorious day in the Corps. A day in the Marine Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet. Every paycheck a fortune. Every formation a parade. I love the Corps. He says that as everybody gets out of hypersleep. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to put this actually on the bottom of our endurance deck. And then as we reveal cards, which we did, we're going to put that underneath the reshuffle card. And if that reshuffle card ever comes up, we shuffle up the deck that's underneath. It's pretty cool. And of course, things are going to be moving around inside this deck from the top to the bottom, over to the exhaust pile, into the discard pile. So there's a lot of different things that happen. So we just need to know where the bottom of the actual deck is. And that's what that reshuffle card is for. Back to our Marines that can't seem to apparently hit anything. We're going to go ahead and knock Hudson down. Now we've done everything we could to try to keep him from getting attacked by this alien, but alas, we have failed miserably. And we're going to be moving into our next turn. Now, if we don't kill this alien and an alien starts its activation adjacent to a Marine that is down, they're going to go ahead and capture that Marine, and he's going to go away with the alien, or if there's multiple tokens, one of the alien tokens that will take it away. It's absolutely a terrible thing. So Hudson is in a world of hurt. And I might just explain this a little bit wrong. It's whatever alien, or if there's even a stack of aliens. Let's say, for example, this alien had 2 of these tokens on it. This entire horde would then take Hudson away. That's how this would work. So basically, anytime an alien or an alien horde is next to this thing, or a swarm, it's going to go ahead and take the person away if they are downed, and it is the alien's turn, and we just don't want that to happen. So we're going to go ahead and probably take out this alien and hopefully be able to get Hudson back up and running again. That's going to be our plan. So the aliens have activated. We are now going to go ahead and activate those other blips that are on the board. So these blips are right up here. We're going to roll our dice and see what we find. We're going to go ahead and move 3. We're going to move these blips 3 squares. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now they're not able to see these blips yet from what I understand. From this corner to, oh, maybe they can. Oh, then wait, the door is not open. They have to be adjacent to the door. Okay, so they haven't seen this aliens yet. That's okay. We would now go ahead and draw our motion tracker card, but again, it is not our 3rd turn. Starting next turn, we'll be drawing motion tracker cards. We're going to turn our dial and go on to our next turn. We're going to go ahead and start our activation this turn with Gorman. Gorman is going to activate first, and he's going to go ahead and go down his list. The first thing he's going to do is reset his aim dial. He doesn't have to do that. He's going to resolve all activation abilities. Doesn't have any of those. He can equip endurance cards. He's not going to do that, but he is going to perform 2 actions. He can move, attack, barricade, aim, interact, card action, or rest. I think the first thing he is going to do is he is going to play this card. This card says, somebody wake up Hicks. It's going to cost 3, so we have to exhaust 3 cards. Stand up any one knocked down character. So we're going to go ahead and play this card to allow ourselves to stand Hudson up. So we're going to discard the card, and we're going to exhaust 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a pretty hefty action to do, but I think we need to get Hudson back up and running in the game. We're going to stand him up. Now, he would have stood up at the beginning of the alien phase if there were no aliens adjacent to him. And of course, if there was an alien adjacent to him, he would have gotten captured. Another thing I want to make sure that I'm clear about, I did actually make a mistake. When Hudson or Hicks came down here, he showed this blip and this blip. He should not have actually activated this blip because I was not adjacent to this door, so the door would have still been closed. If I'd have moved there, then I would have activated the blip. So it actually all turned out okay because these guys did come down and activate the blip anyway, but I shouldn't have known what that was until after we had moved into this square and were in line of sight to that blip. The next thing Gorman is going to do is he is going to use his during activation. You may recycle 3 cards from your hand to let another Marine character take an action. So he is going to go ahead and recycle all 3 of the cards he has in his hand to allow Vasquez to go ahead and take an action. When you go ahead and recycle cards, you're going to take the cards that you're planning to recycle and just stick them underneath that deck, just like that. So we've recycled the 3 cards, and now we're able to activate a Marine. In this instance, it is going to be a Marine, but I should have said character because Ripley, of course, is not a Marine, and he's with Newt, and he could go ahead and tell them to take an action if he wanted to. Vasquez is going to move 1, 2, 3 to right here, which means she's going to be able to see this blip through this door since it is now open, and we have found 4 aliens. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're going to take 3 standees just like this, place them down on the board, and then we're going to take another alien and stick them on top. Wow, 4 of these guys. That's amazing. Now, this door is also open because this blip is adjacent to this door as well, so she's going to be able to see that blip also. So let's go ahead and see what is on that blip. Hopefully not 4, 2. All right, that's a little bit more manageable. Wow, 4. All right, we're going to put these guys down in front of that door just like this. So we've got our aliens. They're all like that. Now, that was a free action that she had. Gorman has gone ahead and used 2 cards, so his turn is now done. But he does get to activate some grunts if he wishes to. And he's going to go ahead and activate both Frost and Vasquez. The first grunt that's going to go ahead and activate is going to be Frost. He's actually going to move into this room, 1, 2, just like this. Now he can go ahead and see because he has to touch any part of his square with any part over here. So he's going to be able to see these aliens, which is going to be awesome because he's going to go ahead then and use his M240 flamethrower. This is a cumbersome close weapon. I have to exhaust 2 cards to make an attack with this weapon. Choose a space that is 2 spaces away from your character and in line of sight. Roll for each model and token in that space and within 1 space of it. This weapon always hits on a 7+. This is going to be awesome. So that means I can pick this square that's 2 squares away, and I can roll to hit every alien and token in that square and the one adjacent as well. So we're going to go ahead and exhaust 2 cards to be able to fire off that flamethrower. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go see how many aliens we're able to take out. This weapon gives us the opportunity to take out every one of these if we're lucky enough. So we hit on this weapon, always hits on a roll of 7 or less. And I can choose a space as 2 spaces from your character and in line of sight. So we're in line of sight and 2 spaces away. For each model and token that space and within 1 space of it. So also within 1 space of it is that other group behind them. This weapon always hits on a 7+ or 7 or less. Let's go ahead and take out some aliens. We're going to go ahead and start with the 2 behind us. I'm going to go ahead and roll these up and see how we do. We got a 4 and a 9, so we're able to take out 1. There is still 1 left, but we're able to take out this token. Now the one in front is a group of 4, if I remember right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to roll those dice quite a bit. Let's see how we do against these 2. So we got a 7 and a 2. That means we have taken out 2 of the tokens. We're going to roll these 2 again and see how we do. We got another 2 and a 7, so we've taken out both of these. We've only left 1 alien here. Oh my gosh, this flamethrower is amazing. Of course, you have to remember, it is very close combat weapon, so if we did miss some of these, and that was our last attack, this guy had an easy attack in order to come back and get us. Now, from what I'm guessing is making that attack means we do still have to lower our aim dial. I'm guessing because this is still an attack with a weapon. So we're going to go ahead and put this card back. That is the end of Frost's turn. He moved and he made an attack with that flamethrower. That was awesome. Now, of course, we have Vasquez left. She's going to go ahead and make an attack against that alien using her M56 smart gun. This is a fully auto bulky gun. I can have to exhaust 3 cards when you take an attack action with this weapon. Now the cool thing about this weapon is when rolling for an attack with this weapon, you roll 2 dice instead of 1, discarding the highest result. So that's going to be awesome. I get to roll 2 dice to see if we're able to take out this alien. Now there is one good thing about Vasquez, since she is basically the person on the card and knows how to use these things, she has only going to exhaust 2 cards instead of 3 each time you fire the smart gun. So her aim dial is at 6. We're going to go ahead and exhaust 2 cards from our deck to be able to fire the smart gun. We're going to roll 2 dice, and we need to get a 6 or lower on at least 1 die. We got a 6 and an 8. We can discard the higher die. We're going to take the 6 and take out the alien. Oh, we took out this entire group of aliens in just 2 guys. Oh, these Marines are amazing. Now making that attack means we do have to lower our aim dial by 1, so we're at 5. And now we have one more action we can do with Vasquez. I think she's just going to move back to here so that in case anything starts spawning in this corridor, she can take it out. That's the end of Gorman's activation, so he's going to go ahead and pass the token over to Hicks, who at the beginning of his turn is going to go ahead and put his aim dial back to 7. Then he's going to be able to draw an endurance card if he wishes to. I do. So we're going to take the top card off our endurance deck, and we're going to see what we have found. Keep moving, baby. It's a cost of 3. Each character may move up to 2 spaces. Marine characters that move may draw an endurance card. All right, so we do have the ability to move all our Marines if we really want to. That's not a bad card. Now, one thing I want to mention about this card is when you go ahead and move the other Marines, they're only ones that are able to draw endurance cards are characters that are considered like the hero type characters. Our grunts cannot draw cards, so only Gorman and Hicks would be drawing cards if we played this one, which is pretty cool. But still, each of the characters move to 2 spaces. That's not too bad. Moving always seems to be a good thing. Going down the rest of our turn chart here, we're going to resolve the aim dial. We did that, or reset it, sorry. Resolve all activation. We did. Now, we could equip some endurance cards. Now, the only one I really have is the helmet, and I've already got a helmet on. Now, of course, Hudson has an open slot, but I have to be within 2 squares in order to equip an item on somebody else, so he's not able to do that. So then we're going to go ahead and perform our 2 actions, which we might actually use this card. I'll have to think about it. I've decided not to use that card. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use a move action to move 1, 2 up to here. And then we're going to go ahead and take an attack at the alien. Yes, I do have line of sight. I know it's kind of weird. Basically, I can touch from this corner of this thing to this corner right here, and it's not going to be going through any other person's square. So I do have line of sight to this alien. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to take it out using our M41A pulse rifle. So we're going to go ahead and exhaust one of our cards to take our shot, and we're going to roll our die and see how we do. Of course, our aim dial right now is at 7, and we're going to see if we're able to take this guy out. We got a 5, so we were able to destroy this alien, which is fantastic. Now, there is one thing about this game that is a little sad, is the aliens actually have acid for blood. But sadly, even though you kill an alien that's adjacent to people, there really isn't any rules about acid for blood in this version of the Aliens game. But we're going to keep on going, and if there was, those guys probably would have had some potential to have some acid hit them. If you've seen the movie, poor Drake had that happen. It was very sad. But that is going to be the end of his turn. We're going to go ahead and tick his aim dial down to 6, and we're going to be able to activate up to 2 grunts. And yes, these are the grunts we're going to activate. We're going to go ahead and move them on down. The other 2 grunts are going to go ahead and try to get down here to get to Newt. So they're going to do a lot of moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't want to reveal the token. If I reveal the token, she could potentially run. So actually, I'm going to move the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're going to go down this way, and Ripley's going to join. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the thing I do have to watch out for is this is a spawn point for aliens. So there's a potential that some aliens could come out here. They could also come out here as well. Now, of course, we do have Vasquez up here. She's got a line of sight to both of these tokens, 2 and 1. I don't have anybody protecting number 4 over here, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it because it's going to take a while for those blips to get to us. But of course, Hicks has got 3 and 1 covered, so I'm kind of covering the spawn points. Let's see if that works. We got a couple people down here. They're going to try to rescue Newt, and we're going to be going into our 4th turn because that's going to be the end of our activation. And there are no aliens, and there are absolutely no blips that move on the board. There are these 2, but they're not revealed yet because I have not opened this door. I'm not adjacent to it, so the blip is not revealed. That's going to be it. Let's go ahead and see what happens. And of course, I may have been a little premature because of course now we're on going into turn 4. So we do have to draw a motion tracker card because it is past the 3rd turn when we've moved into here. So our alien phase is to move aliens, blips. Now we have to draw a motion tracker card. And when you're playing a 1 or 2 player game, you draw 2 motion tracker cards. And if you're playing more than 2 players, every person would go ahead and draw one. So you could be, if you're playing 4 players, you're drawing 4 motion tracker cards. But in a 1 or 2 player game, you do draw 2 motion tracker cards. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see what we find. My Marines do have some cards that can manipulate this deck that I could have used, but I decided to save them. We'll see how just spawning these normally are going to go, and if it doesn't go too well, we might try to use some of those cards in the next time. So our first motion tracker card, if you notice, has some decent amount of blips on this. This is going to be a medium type card. Let's see what it is. It is, a false alarm. Recycle one card. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm going to discard this. We're going to take a card from our exhaust pile and just go ahead and recycle it. That's amazing. That was fantastic. Now we've got one of these cards. This is be a low type threat. Let's see what we have found. We have found an alien lurker. We're going to spawn a blip in number 3. And it says here, if this blip is not placed on a spawn point within line of sight of a character, it immediately moves 4 spaces. So let's go ahead and place that blip. Lucky for us, spawn point 3 is in line of sight of one of our Marines, so this does not get to move. We're going to go ahead and see what it is, though, because once it lands here, I do reveal it because I am able to see it. So let's see what we have found. We have found 2 aliens. All right, I like 2 aliens. That's not too bad. One's better, but 2 is okay. We're going to go ahead and place him right there. And now we're going to go ahead and move into the bottom of this, or we're going to go ahead and resolve the finish phase effects. We don't have any. We're going to check for victory. We are not victorious. Newt is still down here. And we're going to go ahead and clean up, and then we're going to go ahead, which is going to move us to turn 4. I was just a little premature, getting excited, but we're going to go ahead. Now we have to deal with this alien. So we're going to flip back over here to the Marine phase and give ourselves the actual activation token. Gorman always is going to start with the activation token, but this time he is going to pass it to Hicks. I want Hicks's team to go first, and he's going to go ahead and reset his dial to 7. Then he may draw an endurance card. I'm going to choose not to draw an endurance card this time. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and start off by making an attack with my M41A pulse rifle against that alien group that is in front of me. To make the attack, of course, we have to exhaust a card, and we're going to go ahead and roll our die and see how we do against these aliens. I need a 7 or lower because of our aim dial here. I got a 7, that's enough. So we're going to go ahead and take out our swarm token here, and I can continue firing because I have full auto. So I'm going to tick my dial down to 6. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust yet another card from our deck, and we're going to go ahead and roll again. Now I need a 6 or lower, and these dice don't seem to like me when it comes to this type of thing. Oh, see what I mean? It gave me a 7. That's okay. I've got a plan. I can, once per turn, I can go ahead and exhaust a card from my hand to reroll a failed attack roll by Hicks. So we're going to exhaust our helmet that we have, and we're going to go ahead and make another attack. And I don't know if I want to use that die. We do have another dice, and maybe that one will be a little bit more nice to me. We're going to go ahead and roll that one instead. Come on, get a 6 or lower. Wow, I missed again. This is amazing. All right, so we have missed with Hicks. He's done. We are going to tick our dial down to 5 because we did make an attack with him. He's done. He's now going to activate 2 grunts. The first grunt to activate is going to be Ripley. Ripley's going to go ahead and move 1, 2, and this way she's going to go ahead and expose the blip, which is Newt's. We're going to place Newt's figure down here. Now, according to our rules, Newt is still, of course, scared and doesn't trust us at all, so we actually have to roll a 4 or less in order to get Newt to join our side. So Ripley's going to go ahead and use an interact action to go ahead and see if we can get her to join us. I'm actually going to move her over here. That way, in case Hudson needs to get around, he can. So we're going to roll the die and see what we get. Come on, 4 or less. I got a 2. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, finally something's going my way. We're going to go ahead and get Newt under our control. So now we have her as one of our characters. We're going to go ahead and grab her card. Now, since Ripley is not a hero, we do not get to use the hero side of Rebecca Newt Jordan. Instead, we have to use her as a grunt. So we now have her as a grunt. We're going to put her with the rest of our group, and she's also going to be able to move. Now remember, Corporal Hicks can only activate 2 Marines. Ripley is already activated. She has moved, and she has interacted with Newt. I do still have Hudson. Hudson's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not going to go stand next to him this time because we learned that was a bad idea. He's going to move down here, and he's going to take a shot with his M41A pulse rifle, which means we are going to go ahead and exhaust a card to go ahead and make an attack. He's got his dial here. It's at a 5. Let's see if he can actually hit this guy. Come on, Hudson, let's take this guy out. Oh, we got a 9. We missed. We're going to go ahead and take his dial and click it down to 4. Now, of course, that's the end of Hicks's little group over here. He's made these 2 grunts move or activate. He's activated himself. We're now going to move into Gorman's turn. But before we do, remember I said I could manipulate the motion tracker deck? Here's a way of doing it. He's got this. It's a free action. I can reveal a card and the cost of this for this, and it's 0 to equip it, but he already has it equipped. And if I am able to show a event or an equipment card, I can look at the top 2 cards of the motion tracker deck, place one of those cards on the bottom of the motion tracker deck and the other back on top of the motion tracker deck. And if I get this, I have to exhaust the card. So I think we're going to go ahead and use Hudson's motion tracker. So we're going to go ahead and reveal a card. We have a weapon equipment. Oh, that's terrible. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and since we revealed it, we are going to go ahead and put it at the bottom of the deck, but our motion tracker has failed us immensely. Apparently, just like in the reactor room, he couldn't tell where anything is. This says exhaust this card, so we're just going to go ahead and exhaust it, and that's the end. Gorman's team is up here. They're doing a great job of protecting the way out. The problem is we have to get Newt up here. We're going to go ahead and activate Gorman. Gorman is going to go ahead, and during his activation, I can recycle 3 cards. That's not going to happen. And at the end, he is going to be drawing 2 cards. We're going to move him 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he's going to come down and help these guys out. 1, 2, he's going to come down to right here and stand here with Hicks so that he has a line to this, and he's going to be able to help take out some aliens that are down here in case they spawn again. He now can activate up to 3 grunts with his, since he's, I guess, their commander. And the first grunt he's going to activate is Vasquez again. She's just going to kind of move a little bit to kind of keep in position. And Frost is going to actually come out, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In case something starts coming out of here, he can go ahead and use that awesome flame unit on it. All right, that's going to be the end of them. We still have 1 more grunt to move. The last grunt we're going to use is we're going to go ahead and use Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. She's going to stop right there and just hang out. She can move twice with up to 4 movement. Now, actually, I have a different plan. I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to put these 2 characters back. He can activate up to 3 grunts. He's going to still go ahead and activate Newt to move her up a little bit, but nowhere does it say that I can't activate the same grunt as another hero has. So I'm actually going to activate Hudson and Ripley with Gorman's ability. These 2 are doing just fine where they are. From where they are, Hudson is going to go ahead and make a shot again. He's going to go ahead and exhaust 1 card to see if he can take out this alien. This alien, I need a 4 or less. Let's see if I can do it. Come on, 4 or less. Wow, a 10! I totally missed. That's the worst roll ever. He's going to go ahead and run. 1, 2, 3, 4, back around this way, and it's going to be Ripley's turn. Ripley's going to go ahead and move. Now this thing's going to move towards the closest Marine. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be either one of those characters. I think Ripley's going to run out 1, 2, 3 to right here, and she's going to go ahead and take a shot. Now I do have to put his aim dial down to 3. Ripley's aim dial is still at 5. She hasn't actually taken any shots. So you're going to go ahead and take a shot with her pulse rifle. She's going to go ahead and exhaust a card and make an attack. She needs a 5 or less. Wow, she got a 7. My Marines roll so high most of the time. Unbelievable. We're going to tick her down to 4. And now that's going to be the end of Gorman's turn, and he must draw 2 endurance cards. Let's see what he has found. He has found Resolve, Event, Reveal a card. If your character may take an action, recycle a card from the discard pile, or I can discard up to 3 cards from the endurance deck. Recycle 4 cards for each card discarded this way. Wow. All right, that's pretty good. And then we also have the M40 grenades. All right, so you got some more grenades. So we're going to go put those with him. That's the end of his turn. We're then going to go ahead and look at the rest of the steps. Resolve any end of activations. There aren't any. We did the grunts. We are now going to pass our activation token. Don't even do that. We're going to move over to the alien phase. We're going to activate the aliens, and this alien is going to turn around and go after Ripley. Now, since I'm not adjacent this time, and we have moved next to this alien, she's able to take a free shot. This is considered defensive fire. So the character that this alien moved next to gets to make a defensive fire shot. On top of that, any other characters that are within 4 range and line of sight could go ahead and take a defensive shot as well for Ripley. Sadly, there are none. She is on her own. Now, of course, her aim dial is at 4. It doesn't reset till the beginning of when I decide to activate her. So she has a 4. So she needs to roll a 4 or less in order to take this alien out. She rolled another 10. Wow, so she absolutely missed, which means now this alien gets to go ahead and attack her. And we're going to go ahead and go against her defense value, which is 5. So we're going to roll this up and see what happens. We got a 7, so again, that's higher than our defense value. She is knocked down. She'll stand up at the beginning of the next alien phase. But for now, again, we have already knocked down another character. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to continue on with the rest of the alien phase, and we're going to go ahead and activate some blips. We don't have any, so now we're going to go ahead and draw our motion tracker cards. Our first motion tracker card we're going to resolve is going to be alien drones. We're going to go ahead and put a blip in number 2, and it says players must either discard one barricade in play or place a second blip on spawn point 1. If there are no barricades in play, then the player must place the extra blip. So we're placing 2 blips on number 2. The other card we have is Alien Scout. We're going to put one on number 3. It says exhaust 1 card for each character within line of sight of this blip when it spawns. Oh, that's absolutely terrible. Our first card is going to spawn a blip in 2, and since I don't have any barricades in play, sounds like I need to maybe get one of those, we're going to go ahead and spawn another blip adjacent to it. I'll just put it right there. So we're going to go ahead and see how many aliens are here. 3. Okay, we're going to place 1, 2, and 3 like this. These aliens are ready to go. And then we're also going to place another one. We are going to go, oh wow, 5. Unbelievable. All right, so we're going to put down another 4 of these things, and then we're going to put some more aliens down. Wow, absolutely out of control. All right, so we got 5 aliens here, 4 tokens, and 1 miniature. Oh wow, hopefully our Smarkin can take all of those guys out or get at least pretty close. So that's the end of this spawn. Now we have to go ahead and spawn the other one. So we're going to go ahead and spawn 1 blip at number 3, and then we have to exhaust 1 card for each character within line of sight of this blip when it spawns. So it spawned, we have 1, 2, 3 characters within line of sight to that blip when it spawned. So we are going to go ahead and exhaust 3 cards from our deck out of control. Now we're going to go ahead, of course, and see what this is because we can see it. And there's 2 aliens. All right, we're going to go ahead and put a couple more aliens down here. We've got to try to take these aliens out. They're starting to swarm us. All right, we've got 2 more here. Ripley's down on the ground. Oh, there's bad news everywhere. All right, we're going to continue on. We've gone ahead and finished that alien phase. Resolve and finish any finish effects. Nope, we're going to check for victory. Definitely not victorious, and we're going to go ahead and clean up, which means we're just going to tick our timer down to number 5. Now I'm actually going to stop using this timer because the only thing this timer was used for was to tell us how many turns it took to 3 before we start drawing those motion tracker cards. And we've already gotten to that point, so the turn dial is really kind of a moot point at this point. We're going to start our activation tokens off with Gorman. Gorman is going to go ahead and go first. He doesn't have any beginning of the activation things. I've reset his aim dial to 5, and he's going to go ahead and take an attack action. He's going to go ahead and use his M41A pulse rifle. Exhaust this card when you take an attack action with this weapon. And then I could also, after you take an attack action with this weapon, you may take an additional attack action using a grenade weapon equipped to this character. He does have a grenade. Let's take a quick look at it. It says discard this card to make an attack with this weapon. Choose a space that is within 4 spaces of your character and in line of sight. Roll for each model and token in that space and within 1 space of it. This weapon always hits on a roll of 6+. Now, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't actually make it, so I'm going to have to move up 2 spaces to do all this. So I'm going to go ahead and move 1, 2 like this. We're going to make our attack action with our gun. So we're going to go ahead and discard this card. We're going to make our roll. He has an aim dial of 5, so he needs a 5 or less, so we know this is going to miss. Oh, it hit! Wow, that's amazing. We're actually hitting. We're going to go ahead and discard one of our tokens. Now at this point, he can use his grenade. It says I can make an additional attack using a grenade. After you attack with this weapon, you also make additional attack. Now, making this additional attack is going to make us use a endurance card. So I'm going to go ahead and exhaust that card. And this attack always hits on a 6+. So we're going to attack the one in front of us first. We got a 2. That one is dead. Now we're going to hit the one adjacent to it as well. And we got a 5. That one is dead. Gorman is actually cleaning house. That's amazing. All right. Now the M4 grenades, I believe, are going to be discarded because, of course, we used them. So they're done. We're going to go ahead then and take his dial, flip it down to a 4. Now I believe I'm still going to flip it to a 3 because we did make another attack action with those grenades. And that's the end of his turn. He can now activate up to 3 grunts. But before that happens, we do have to finish off with his card. Step 5 is to resolve all end of activation abilities, and his end of activation abilities, he has to draw 2 endurance cards. He has found losing hope. It's a hazard. I have to place this on your character. Each time your character activates, I have to reveal a card, and I'm either going to exhaust 4 cards, lose an action, or discard 2 cards and shuffle this card in the exhaust pile. Okay, we want that one. And then, oh, wow, we got 2 hazard cards. Game over, man. This is a hazard. Reveal cards until you reveal a weapon card, or you have revealed 5 cards. Discard all revealed cards. If you discard 1 or more hazard cards in this way, shuffle this card back into the exhaust pile, otherwise discard it. All right, so I'm going to go place this on our character. And now, sadly, we have to go deal with this card as well. See, this is the problem with Gorman sometimes. He must draw those cards. Being not the greatest leader, he still could have things bad happen to him. And, well, something really bad happened to him. So according to this card, we're just going to start revealing cards until we find a weapon card. Or we draw 5 cards. 3, 4, and 5. Wow, oh, the reshuffled action. So we have to go ahead and shuffle this up, and then we're going to have to draw some more cards and see what we get. All right, let's see what we get. All right, we drew 5 cards. That's awesome. We did not find any weapon cards. That's terrible. So let's go ahead and continue reading the card to make sure we do this right. Reveal the cards until you reveal a weapon card, or you have revealed 5 cards. Discard all revealed cards. All right, and I did not discard any endurance cards, so I don't put it back in here. I'm going to discard that card as well, and I'm going to discard these cards. This is absolutely terrible. All right, we're going to now put our reshuffle card on the bottom of our deck again, and we're going to continue on with the rest of our turn, which means he gets to activate 3 grunts. The first grunt to activate is going to be him. Frost is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and now he's going to go ahead and activate that M240 flamethrower, which means I have to exhaust 2 cards to make this attack. So we're going to go ahead, take 2 cards off our deck, and we're going to exhaust those. I'm running out of endurance cards, which is going to be terrible. And now I get to go ahead and attack anything. I have to pick a place within 2 squares, which is going to be here. Then I get to attack everything in that square and an adjacent square, and I always hit on a roll of 7+. So we're going to go ahead and start rolling some dice and see how we do. We're going to try to take out these guys first. We got a 6 and a 2. That's going to take out these 2. Now we're going to continue. We're going to make one more roll there. We got a 2. We have taken out that entire swarm. Oh man, this flamethrower is so good. Now we also get to attack adjacent to that square. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 5, that's right. We're gonna go ahead and roll, see what we do. We got a 2 and a 10, 1, that's not a 10. We're gonna go ahead and take off 2 tokens. Let's roll 2 more times. We got a 5 and a 3, we've taken out 2 more, and then we're gonna do 1 more, come on. Oh, we got a 9, we missed with our last attack. All right, now of course that was an attack action, so I believe we're gonna go ahead and knock this down to 4. And we're going to move into somebody else's turn. But before we do, I missed this the last time we did this. After shooting with a flamethrower, I get to reveal a card. If it's an equipment or an event card, I get to recycle a card. So we're going to take a card from the endurance deck and recycle it back into our endurance deck. That's going to be awesome. And we're going to go ahead and move into our next person's turn. Gorman gets to activate 2 more characters. And I think he's going to activate Hudson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1... Oh, no, he's not. He's going to activate Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to go hang out next to Vasquez. And then I'm going to activate Hudson. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 as well outside. I think he's going to move up to there. And that's going to be fantastic. That's going to be the end of Gorman's activation. Now, sadly, she does not stand up until the alien's turn, which means she's a long ways from anybody. So we're going to have to get her moving next time. We're going to move into Hicks's turn. At the beginning of his turn, he can choose to draw a card. He is not going to draw a card. He's just going to go ahead, reset his aim dial to 7, and take some actions. His first action is going to be to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and now his second action is going to be to fire. He's going to fire at that alien with his M41A pulse rifle, which means he's going to have to exhaust a card from our endurance deck, roll the dice, and he needs to get a 7 or lower. All right, he hit. Our Marines are finally figuring out how to use their weapons. That's fantastic. So that's going to be the end of his turn. He doesn't have any end of activations. We now get to activate 2 grunts. And our grunts are activating is 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to activate her. And we're also going to activate, I think we're going to activate Hudson. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to kind of keep on moving on down the road here. When Hicks made that attack action, I did have to turn his dial to 6, so he has gone from a 7 to a 6. At the start of the alien turn, I'm going to go ahead and stand Ripley up. She gets to stand up if there's no other aliens adjacent to her at the beginning of the alien phase, and there aren't, so we're okay. Without any aliens on the board or blips to move, we're pretty much going to come to the end of our turn, which means we're going to have to go ahead and draw these terrible motion tracker cards yet again. These cards are the bane of my existence. I have to do a better job of being able to deal with this deck. So when we go ahead and build our next characters, we're going to probably bring some more stuff that can deal with this. All right, our first card is, false alarm. Recycle one card. Oh, that's fantastic. So we get to take the top card from our exhaust deck and put it at the bottom of our endurance deck. All right, we're going to draw our second card and see what it is. It is an alien assault. We're going to put one in blip number 1, and it says if this spawn point already has a blip or alien model, move this blip 4 spaces toward the nearest character. Good, there isn't one. So we're just going to put one blip in number 1. So we're going to take our blip token and put it down in number 1, and I do want to mention that these blips are actually in a blip pool. Once they're revealed, they go back to a blip pool. They don't get discarded, so you could keep finding the same one over and over again. You never know. But we're going to go ahead and reveal this one, and we found 4. Oh, wow, 4 aliens. Man, I wish we could just get 1. That'd be fantastic. I've got 1, 2, and one more, 3, and then our alien on top. So we got a swarm of 4 aliens pouring out of this area. And like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and return this blip token to the blip pool. Gorman is going to be our first to activate this time, and he has to deal with losing hope. Each time your character activates, reveal a card. So we're going to go ahead and reveal a card from our endurance deck and see what we have found. We have found, I threw it over here. We found a weapon. I think that's going to be good. Let's go ahead and take a look at our card here. It says, discard 2 cards and shuffle this card into the exhaust pile. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to have to discard 2 cards. Oh, that's terrible. I think I'm going to have to discard these 2 cards. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on the bottom of the endurance deck, and we are going to shuffle this into the exhaust pile. So here's what we have to do. This is our revealed card. I'm going to put this on the bottom of our endurance deck. Then we have to discard 2 cards. I'm going to discard the grenades from his hand, but you can also discard from here if I want as well. We're going to discard a card from our exhaust pile. Then it says that we have to shuffle this into the exhaust deck. So we're going to go ahead and pick up all these cards and shuffle it on in. With that complete, he's going to go ahead and do some actions. His first action is to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I'm going to go ahead and attack with an M41A pulse rifle. I'm actually going to move my character up there instead, so I'm not in a lot. Vasquez, I think is going to be taking a lot of these out. We're going to go ahead and exhaust a card from the top of our exhaust pile, or our endurance deck, which is getting dangerously low. We're going to go ahead and roll. Now, of course, Gorman does have a 5 for his aim dial. Let's see how good that is. It is not good at all, so he has failed to hit. We're going to turn our aim dial down to 4. And now that he is done, he's done 2 actions. He's going to go ahead and activate 3 grunts. The first one is Ripley. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to come running up. She needs to get out of that room and down the hall. Next, he's going to go ahead and activate Vasquez. Vasquez has an aim dial of 6 and an M56 smart gun, which is going to be awesome. Now, before I do that, I want to make sure I do something smart. Gorman does have flares. Let's use these flares. It says you may discard this card to look at the top 4 cards of the motion tracker deck. You may place one of those cards on the bottom of the motion tracker deck and place the rest of the cards back on top of the motion tracker deck in any order. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to discard this and look at the top 4 cards. That'll be very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we have. We have this one, Alien Vanguard. 1 blip, reveal a card, place another blip, place another blip. That doesn't sound too good. Relentless Horde. 2, exhaust 6 cards. This looks even worse. Then we want, I want the false alarm card. And then we want driven by the purpose. Oh my gosh, 2 and 4. After you place blips, move each blip 3 spaces. Oh no, I don't like any of these. All right, we like this one, actually, I lied. We do like that one. Now this one means that if we draw one of these, place another blip at spawn point 2 or at spawn point 1, that one's not too bad. This is terrible. Exhaust 6 cards. This one is, okay, I think we're going to do that. We're going to put this one at the bottom. This was an easy one? It's not easy at all. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this at the bottom of our motion tracker deck. These we're going to go ahead and put on the top in this order. I think that's going to be the best. 1 is right here, I think. Yes, so it's going to spawn at number 1. Then this might spawn up thing at 2. This is going to at 4, and then move each blip 3 spaces. That's not going to be good either. Oh man, this is all bad. I think I'm going to put them in this We'll put them in this order and hope we draw a really good card out of our deck. There we go. We're going to put this back over there. Now we're going to go ahead and fire our smart gun, which is going to be really bad because I'm going to run out of cards. Exhaust 3 cards when you take an attack action with this weapon. We're going to go ahead and exhaust only 2 because it's Vasquez. Now we only have 3 cards left in our endurance deck, and I'm shuffling them up. We're going to go ahead and exhaust 2, leaving us with only 1 card. She's going to go ahead and take a shot with that smart gun all the way down the corridor. See how she does here. She needs a 6 or better. She rolled 2 10s. Unbelievable. All right. Well, okay. So we totally missed with the smart gun. We're going to go put that back. That's fantastic. That's our second Marine that we have activated. She could take another shot. I'm going to have to go ahead and put her aim dial down to 5. And let's see what we can do. Wow. I think at this point, we just have to get out of here. So she's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, running on down the road. She can activate 1 more. He's activated her and her. So he's going to go ahead and activate, I think, Hudson. Hudson's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. And we're slowly getting towards that exit. Actually, I lied. He's not going to move him. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to move him. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to stand right here. If anything comes out of that thing, he is going to flame it to death. Now, I did do these in the wrong order again. These are going to go ahead and perform our actions. Then I have to resolve the end of abilities. So I do have to draw 2 cards for Gorman, and that would have happened before I activated my grunts, which means she would have had to put these 2 cards back in here. These would have been the 2 I would have had to draw for Gorman, which are, okay, what do? Set a character aim dial to that character's aim number. That's pretty good. And then the other one is, of course, an M41A pulse rifle. We're going to go give those to him. Now, when she made her attack, she would have to take the last endurance card here and put it into the exhaust pile. Then, we don't have any more endurance cards. All we have is an exhaust pile. So now we have to start discarding cards. So we're going to have to discard a card from the exhaust deck when we went to fire with our smart gun. So that's the end of Gorman's turn. We're going to move over to Hicks's turn. Hicks is not going to draw a card, and we're going to go ahead and see what he can do. Now, I have a card here called Resolve that Gorman has in his possession, and you can play event cards whenever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card with a cost of 0, and we're going to draw a card from our exhaust deck and see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and reveal a card. We don't have any cards here to reveal, so I'm just going to reveal the top card of the exhaust deck. And we have found a motion tracker, which is an equipment. So we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what happens. It says, reveal a card. Your character may take an action. Oh, that's going to be fantastic. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this on the bottom of the exhaust deck since we revealed it instead of actually putting it in the discard pile. We're going to put that in the discard pile, and we're going to take an action with Gorman. Gorman is going to run. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on full-on sprint mode at this point. We're going to go ahead and move with Hicks as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is going to move again. 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. Now he can activate 2 grunts. His first grunt is Ripley. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to go running. Our next one that we're going to activate is going to be, I think we're going to go ahead and activate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our alien's going to come to here. So we should be okay. We're going to activate, I think we're going to activate Hudson. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to stand right there. We now come to the end, resolve all end of activation abilities. We activated our grunts. We are now going to pass the activation token. We don't have any of that. We're going to flip it over to the alien side. We're going to activate our aliens. Now our aliens get to move 6 spaces towards the closest Marine. And that closest Marine is Gorman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's catching up. We need to get going, and we need to get going fast. There are no blips, so we're going to go ahead and do our motion tracker cards. Our first one, if I remember right, is nothing. Recycle one. We get to recycle 1 card. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on top of the reshuffle deck, and then reshuffle the deck. Well, there you go. There's 1 card on top. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and see what our next one is. This is that terrible one. I'm going to put a blip in number 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and reveal a card. We have found an event, which means nothing happens. Oh, that's fantastic. So we're only going to have to place 1 blip at spawn point number 1. That's awesome. So we're going to place a blip from our blip pool, and since we have somebody in line of sight, we're going to go ahead and reveal it. We have found 1 alien. Oh, now we find 1 alien. All right, we're going to go ahead and put that alien right there. Gorman has the activation token, and he is going to activate first. And just like in the Aliens movie, the best way to deal with them is just to run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and end right there. He gets to activate 3 grunts. He's going to activate Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She is out. He's then going to activate Ripley. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She is almost out. And then I think we're going to go ahead and move Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. She is also out. So we have gotten 2 of our Marines out. We're going to continue on. Of course, I do have to resolve all end of abilities before I activate my grunts. That's the one thing I keep doing wrong. I'm going to go ahead now. I only have 1 card left in my endurance deck, so I can only draw 1, I believe, which is whatever you're going to do it fast. Choose another character. That character immediately takes an action. Oh my gosh. That might be pretty good. Oh, he's the one I want to have take the action, which is, it says another character, so he can't do it. So he's going to go ahead and keep that card. And since I don't have any more in my endurance deck, I don't know if I draw from the exhaust deck or not. We're going to go ahead and say no, and we're going to continue on. We're going to move into Hicks's turn. Hicks, of course, should be resetting his aim dial. He hasn't shot anything. He's going to go ahead and perform 2 actions. Well, of course, he could draw a card if he wants. He does not want to. He wants to move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then move again off the board. Hicks is also safe. He gets to activate 2 grunts. He's going to activate Ripley, and he's going to activate Hudson. Both of them are going to run off the board. This comes to the end of his turn, so we're going to go ahead and move into the alien phase. We're going to activate all our aliens, our alien blips, and draw motion tracker cards. Our aliens are going to move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right to here. This one's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chasing them down the line here. And then we're going to go ahead and draw our 2 motion tracker cards, and I only know what one of these is, I think. No, I don't know what any of these are, I don't think. All right, here's our first one. Our first one is Driven by Purpose. After you place blips, move each blip 3 spaces. Oh, I think I knew that one. That's going to go in spawn space number 4. And this one I don't know. We're going to spawn it in number 4. If this spawn point already has a blip or alien model, move this blip 4 spaces toward the nearest character. All right, we're going to go ahead and place all those. So here's our level 4 spawn point. We're going to go ahead and start by Driven with Purpose. I'm going to grab 2 blips from our blip pool and place them down here. And it says after you place blips, move each blip 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They're going to move on up. We're going to go ahead and discard that card. Next, we're going to deal with the Alien Assault. We're going to put a blip token in number 4. And there isn't a blip marker there, so then I don't move this one forward 4 spaces. That's the end of their turn. I'm going to move into our turn now, which means Gorman is going to go. And you guessed it, Gorman is running. 1, 2, 3, 4 out the door, and he's taking Frost with him. Our entire team have been able to rescue Newt, and we're not all destroyed by the aliens. We succeeded, so that means we're going to go through the campaign notes. It says, if you succeed in this mission, you can continue to the next mission. However, depending on how things went in this game, you might have fewer resources to work with. Follow the instructions below to prepare for the next mission. Each player searches the discard pile and selects 1 card to return to the endurance deck. Then we'll return all the hazards to the discard pile to the endurance deck. Then I'm going to shuffle the discard pile and remove half, rounded up, of the cards from the game. These cards may not be used for the remainder of the campaign. Then I'm going to return the remaining cards to the discard pile to the endurance deck to be used in the next mission. Looking through our discard pile, I'm going to grab Go to Sleep and Don't Dream and Resolve. Both these cards seem pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and put them there. Then we're going to go ahead and count how many cards we have in our discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to lose 6 cards. So we're going to go ahead and mix these up, draw 6, and get them out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These 6 cards are no longer even going to be part of our campaign. We're going to add the other 5 back here, and when we go on to our next mission, we do take the entire, we start again with our entire endurance deck here shuffled together and ready to go. Of course, we will also be redoing our motion tracker deck as well, based on what our mission says to do. The only thing left to do is we have to go ahead and return the cards that we drew back to our endurance deck. We get those back. Of course, we did lose some of the cards to our discard pile. Hopefully that's not going to be very detrimental. But we also did not lose anybody in our mission in Rescue Newt. We were able to get her out, and she is now safe, and we get to go into mission 2, which is going to be Escape. We are going to be going down to find the colonists, and we're going to be entering into the reactor room. Of course, we are going to be going against the aliens inside here. We have our APC that has crashed through the wall over here, and we have to get our Marines, our brave Marines, back over here. So we're going to see if we can actually do this in the next video. It is called Escape. We got a picture of Hicks. That's going to be pretty awesome. So that is going to be our next scenario. I'm excited to move into it. Of course, we do have our entire complement of people, and when we go into the next mission, we get to equip these people however we want. I think our equipment that we had on was pretty good. If you have some suggestions for how we should equip our characters, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if you did enjoy the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next playthrough comes out. We're going to be moving into mission 2 of Aliens: A Glorious Day in the Core. Oh, I'm really excited for this. This has been a really fun experience. I'm excited to keep on going and see if we can make it all the way to the end. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below along with the gear we have. If you think it's good, that's fine. If you have any comments, I would love to hear from everyone. It's so much fun to hear people in the comments and be able to contact back to them. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see if our Marines can go into the reactor room and come out victorious, then I need you to meet me at the table.